So I've seen Tomorrowland, and I think it's now time to go ahead and give my thoughts and review on the film. I've been excited for this movie. I first heard about it almost a year ago that it was in development. I looked up and did some research, so I learned about it about a year ago. So I was pretty excited to see that they were making a movie, kind of based off of what we've seen from the actual Tomorrowland that originated in Disneyland and now exists in Disney parks all over the world. I'm not the biggest George Clooney fan in the world. It's nothing against him personally as far as his acting. I just, when I see a movie, I don't prefer him. But I mean, to have him in the movie does add a huge element of star power. I mean, to get right into the movie, it started off a little weird with the framing device that they used to kind of introduce the characters. It took a while for me to catch on to that, but I thought it was okay to kind of give the backstory for the film. I do think the prologue ran a little bit long. I think it was longer than it needed to be because it just took a while to set everything up for me, so I wish they could have just gotten through that part a little bit faster. But from there, the film pretty much picks up at a pretty good pace. You see the film's main character, Casey Newton. If you've seen the trailer, you see how she touches the pen and ends up in Tomorrowland. That entire sequence is really enjoyable. I think I really did like how they pretty much played out that sequence overall. To not get into spoiler territory, the film it runs pretty smoothly. It's a fun time, as we continue on and see new characters and we start to develop the plot along the way. I will say that the pacing became a little bit awkward though. I don't know. I felt like it just took them a while to actually explain what the movie was about. It took a little bit of a long time, longer than I thought it should have. We went for a while throughout the film not exactly knowing what was the purpose and what was the plot. I started to get the message as they started to piece things together, and I think that was kind of cool to, still have that sense of wonder. But, I do think that some sort of element should have been there to kind of explain things a little bit better. But I certainly can say that the visuals for this film are, great. I think the rendering of Tomorrowland was really beautiful, and that was really cool to look at. And then there was some really cool action sequences as well. Yeah, in the film, there's some fight sequences that are pretty cool to see. Again, I won't give away too much, but I think those add another element to the story and really advance the story along and tell more of a story of what's going on with Casey, her as the main character, and everything with Tomorrowland. As it got towards the end, though, I don't know. It felt weird. Again, I think the pacing was a little bit awkward. So the ending felt anticlimactic. Again, it just felt a little bit weird how they got to the point that they got towards the end of the movie. I don't know if that's because they really didn't explain the plot until the end, or if it was the introduction of the film's antagonist, which was also kind of weird. Overall, I think they just could have done a better job of framing, what's the conflict of everything happening in the story. So when we got to the last 20-25 minutes of the movie, I hadn't realized that we were towards the end. I mean, I knew I had been in the theater for a while, but it didn't feel like the end of a movie. It didn't feel like the climax of a movie. Overall, I do think the characters were really good in the film. I think the characters were handled really well. I think the action and the CGI effects were handled really well. Costumes, all of those things were exceptionally good about the movie. My main problem does lie with the pacing and the flow of the story. That's really where it kind of falls into place. The beginning is weird and the end is weird. The middle, not so much. But those two very, very essential pieces were just a little off to me. Overall, though, I did enjoy Tomorrowland. It was a good time. I didn't expect a masterpiece of a film. I expected a good, fun time, and it delivered on that. I thought it was a good film, and it does deliver a really inspiring message. I'll leave that to the people who haven't seen the movie to go see it and find out what that is. But it's a really uplifting and inspiring message that kind of gets left towards the end of the film as far as where we're heading towards the future. It does make you think. It makes you think about, hey, us today, are we doing everything to make the world we live in the best place that it could possibly be? So as far as enhancing and, keeping the spirit of the imagination alive, it really tackled those things, and I think that was pretty cool to do. I really like the director, Brad Bird. He's directed The Incredibles, incredible movie. no pun intended. Ratatouille, another great movie. Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, another great movie. The Iron Giant. He's done some amazing work. With this movie, I think he's done a good, solid film. I don't think it taints the rest of his work that he's done. I think, you know, it's a good movie. Like I said, it doesn't hurt his legacy, and I think he did a pretty good job with everything that he had. Overall, I encourage you to go see Tomorrowland. Like I said in my written review, I would give it a 6.5 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. It was a good film. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad either. It was a good film, so definitely go check it out. Check out my written review.